What's up, Infected? It's Wolf of the Quarantine. I have another review here for you. It was a game that was sent to me to review by the name of Carthage. Now, Carthage is a deck-building gladiatorial combat game in the same vein as, Spartacus, Gladiator. You can see behind me, I think you can see it from here. I have the Spartacus board game, which I'm a big fan of. But this takes that and basically turns it into a deck builder. It strips out the intrigue and it's purely the gladiatorial fighting. One dude beating another dude to death, or multiple dudes beating multiple dudes to death. Now, the way the game is going to work is it actually works a little bit different than a normal deck builder, which is pretty interesting. The way the game works is you have a hand of 5 cards. You are never going to draw, as far as I was able to find throughout the deck, and we played it several times, is you're never going to have more than 5 cards in your hand. You are going to play one card and execute it. And then once you've executed it, then the next person in turn order is going to play one of their 5 cards. And then next person, and then next person that comes back to you. You have 4 cards now. You play one more card. And then next person goes around until everybody's played all 5 cards. Now, the different actions you can take on it is you're going to gain glory, which is basically money, and you're going to increase it up on this little track. Then you're going to have movement. You're just going to move around the grid. And then you have attacks. And attacks is, of course, beating somebody over the face. But then you have a special kind of attack where if you're always going to resolve the cards from left to right, and if you hit with the attack, it's got this weird little white blast mark that goes around it, and that means if you hit with the attack, then you get to do some other stuff. And then the last action is you're going to gain armor, which is effectively health. Everybody's going to pretty much do that, execute every card until all 5 are played. Once all 5 are played, then you move into basically a buy phase where you can use the glory that you've gotten to add more cards to your deck, or you can do some special actions like take the first player marker, reshuffle the market deck or market row and bring new cards out, and then you also get the first chance to be able to buy. And there's a couple other actions where there's events that come out at the beginning of a round that kind of change the rules and bend them. You can choose which one's going to go up and put it up top, so you get a little bit of advantage, which is pretty neat. But this is pretty much going to go around and around until there is one victor. Once somebody's armor reaches 0, they're dead, they're out of the game. There's a few variants where you can come back as like an animal and stuff like that, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. All glory to the blood pit. So I'm not even going to beat around the bush here. I thoroughly enjoy Carthage. I'm a big fan of deck builders. Any of you guys that watch this show often, I'm a sucker for sci-fi, and I love hidden trader games. But then my second favorite genre is a deck builder. So if I could find a good deck building hidden trader game, phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoy this. And then where Gladiator is probably one of my favorite movies, there is usually a lot of "Are you not entertained?" around the table, screaming, stuff like that. It's one of my favorite movies. I love it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
And this game definitely brings that feel, because where you're only playing one of your 5 cards, it kind of breaks that mold a little bit of a normal deck builder, where you drop all your cards and go, okay, well, I'm going to buy these and add these and do all this. No, you got to look at your card and look at the board and go, okay, I only get to play one of these cards, and you're going to have to play all of them, so when are you going to play them? Do I move in and hope you don't move away? Because if I move in, you can either hit me or move away. Maybe I want to hit you, but I don't have a card that lets me move and strike at the same time. But I have a move and a strike card. So do I move in, let you hit me, and hope that you're still there, and then I hit you, or are you going to run away, and then now I'm just kicking at air and not doing anything. So there's a lot, especially early game, where you don't get any cards. You just still have the crap cards. There's a lot to think about. It is a very stressful, in a good way, kind of strategy behind the game, because you're going to be looking at the board thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? I don't, do I run up to them and hope they hit me? And then it gets even worse the later into the game, because I saw you buy that card that does like 7 damage, which is insane. And I saw you buy that. Did you draw it this turn? Do I want to risk it? I don't know, but I don't have anything that lets me move and attack, or some of them are like move, attack, move, so I can run in, punch you in the face, and then run away. So I don't have any of those right now. So do I want to run in, or even if I have something that runs in and attacks, do I do that and just hope you don't have your attack 7 card? So there's just so much going on with the game, and it is fantastic. However, the game does suffer from a few issues. The biggest one that we actually found is actually these player boards. For some strange reason, 1 is on this side and 20 is on this side, and you start here. So as you take damage, you're going to go this way, and that feels counterintuitive. It feels like you should be going this way, like your health bar should be depleting this way. So it feels like this is totally backwards. And then the same thing with this. It goes down and then back up and just feels weird. Everybody I played with, there were a couple people that thought that felt okay, but everybody else I played with felt like it should have went down and then started back up at the top and went down again to track your glory. So that was a big, but the biggest one is the health. It just always felt backwards. When you look across the board and like, I know you're at like 3 or 4 health, but look across the board and you're way over here, which is at 3 or 4 health, but it looks like, because every other game has this backwards, or has this the other way around, where this would be 1 and this is 20. So it just, really weird design choice. Another big issue that some people are going to have with the game is the game can be prone to king making. It can basically boil down to screw that guy for whatever reason. So everybody can gang up on one person, knock them out, and then those 2 people fight. But then it gets even worse with one of the variants to the game. One of the variants allows you to come back as an animal. You just can't win, but you're just this ruthless animal that just beats the crap out of people now. And it kind of exacerbates, I think that's the right word, the king-making aspect of the game, because I can't win, so now I just can start attacking you because you're the one that killed me and give the win to that guy. And I don't like that, but the base game isn't too bad, because usually what winds up happening is, hey, we should just gang up on them because they got a strong card or stuff like that, because that's a valid tactic. You got a +7 attack, we should probably take care of you, but then I'm gonna stab you in the back because only one of us can win. So it winds up being like a frail alliances, so it's not that big of a deal until you add in that variant where you're the animals. I just did not like that at all. Another thing that some people are not going to like is, of course, as with any deck builder, it is definitely the type of game where if you are already losing, there's a decent chance that you're going to still lose. Now, this one is not nearly as bad, unless, people are ganging up on you. This one's not quite as bad because everybody's only playing 1 card at a time, so you are able to, if I suspect that you have your +7 attack card, for example, I see you really trying to get up in my face, I can just keep running away provided I have the cards, which is one thing more people are not going to like, is because of course it is cards. You are going to rely on hoping you get the right cards when you need them, so there's going to be that luck element to it. And those are really the biggest things that anybody's going to really have a problem with the game. Another kudos to the game that a lot of people are going to like is all of the player boards have a male and a female version on each side of the board. For every one of the fighters, there's a female version on the other side. However, the minis are only the male sides of the minis. But you win some, you lose some, you gotta take what you can get. But it is still cool that they have that female side on the player board for people who do want to play as a female character. The artwork is really, really cool. It's all just like this really high contrast kind of, that's probably not the right word for it, but it's like a contrast. Most of it's white. It all looks like pencil or even charcoal pencil sketched. It feels real old, kind of dated, and then you get like little spurts of blood here and there, and it definitely, it encapsulates the theme, and it feels as though somebody's like ye olde times describing, like drawing out, like this is what happened when he punched the tiger and stuff like that. And that's kind of the vibe you get while looking at the artwork in it. Other than that, the game is actually really, really simple to play, and the minis are phenomenal. The artwork is outstanding. It's very minimalistic in terms of the outline or the artwork artwork, the fact that you can play as both a male or a female, and it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. It's purely aesthetics. The deck building, the kind of breaking the mold deck building aspect, flaws aside, it is a fantastic game, and I didn't even touch on there a ton of variants. You can really tweak this game to really fit how you want. My favorite variant is that everybody gets these little cubes, and on your turn you can just throw one out on a card, and now that card is a little more expensive for everybody else. But then everybody else can also put one on that card, so it cancels it out, but then that limits what else they're able to just decide, oh, I'd rather have this one, or I want this one to be more expensive. So it just adds small, slight little variants to the game, which is really, really cool. I do want to mention one other minor little gripe with the game is this box. This box is comedically large. As you can see here, this thing is ridiculously large. It doesn't fit on a standard shelf. So I'm not really sure what the point of having one this big, because the box does not need to be this big. Everything fits in it just fine. I even have everything sleeved and it fits in my box perfectly fine, and it's comedically large. I'm not really sure why they chose that size of a box. But other than that, if you like Gladiator references, you like beating the snot out of each other, and you like deck builders, definitely pick up Gladiator. Fantastic game. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.